All right, welcome back, everyone. J Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Oh, what are we talking about today? We are talking about a variety of subjects, just a smorgasbord, if you will, a buffet, a cornucopia, because 'tis the season, right? Jesse Cole, morning, J Bone, and hashtag WrestleFam. Too sweet, brother. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is. It is just afternoon here. So, and I realize I don't talk a lot of WWE stuff on here, but it's more just a general discussion. It's not like, hey, guess what? I'm watching WWE again and I'm signing up to the network. And no. This is just a general kind of news uh, stuff. I'm just covering a variety of subjects because I don't do that much. And I should more, but you know, but I feel like this is big news and it's a variety of stuff that I cover. So we're just going to hit a bunch of different stuff. We got Jerry in here. Good morning. Elijah, what is up? J-Bone NWA was awesome. Wade Barrett in NWA is awesome. Wish he was wrestling. I do too. He was I would love to see I would love to see Barrett versus Aldis for the NWA championship. I honestly would. That would be an instant classic, if you will. I don't know how much. I'd have to YouTube it. I don't know how much those guys connected back in the day as far as, UK roots and, between him, Sheamus, Galloway, all those guys, they're all connected in one way or another. But Kamikaze, I would assume Morrison goes directly to the main roster. All right, so let's discuss that, shall we? So it was officially confirmed last night by Ryan Satin on WWE Backstage, I believe, a portion of it or one of those shows, and it was, there's news pages. Not going to name names. It's not making fun of. It's comical. Makes me giggle a little. There's people complaining about, well, this was confirmed months ago. If it was confirmed months ago, WWE would have confirmed it months ago. I almost never call anything confirmed until it's from the horse's mouth, because Morrison was just in, was it Colombia or Chile or wherever? I think Colombia. I think it was Colombia, getting stem cell treatments within the last few months. A couple times, at least once or twice, and that he shared on his social media. So I'm sure the talks were there, and I'm sure once he got back, he went through some testing and then officially put pen to paper, if you will. So he is officially going back to the WWE, and I'm happy for him. I mean, I think some of us, like I said, you never assume anything in the world of professional wrestling. I think some of us assumed that he was Look at my buddy Kyle. Smash's podcast is awesome. Thank you, Kyle. You get a too sweet, my brother, from another podcast. Total nonstop impact. Hakeem's in here. I hope that WWE doesn't ruin Johnny Impact / Johnny Morrison too badly. Yeah, you know, they reel you in with that big bag of cash. And he's at a point in his career where he's older. He is banged up. He's been kicking ass in, you know, he took some time off. He came back in a big way in Lucha Underground. Now, no matter the opinion of the show, he did some tremendous stuff on there for 4 seasons. He really did. I mean, he put that show on his back and helped make a bunch of other people stars. Now, I'm not saying that they all got to bow down to him. There's someone we're going to get to in a little bit. We're also going to have a discussion on that helped with that. But John was a huge part of that. And then in the process of that show having some questionable future, they had a partnership through AAA, through Impact Wrestling. And then he started on there, and he had a hell of a run on Impact Wrestling. And he's look, no matter where he goes, he's still going to be one of my favorites. If you look at the big scheme of things, if you look at the big picture, the big war going on right now is NXT versus AEW. And there's been a lot of questionable, laughable, constructive criticism, of course, in my professional state. A lot of people criticizing what the main roster has been doing. And I've been very critical of it. That's why I stopped watching, like I'll say it once, I'll say it a billion times. Do I still have my favorites on there? Yeah. Do I want them to do better because I want to enjoy watching them again? Yes. But is that going to happen anytime soon? Odds are no. And that's why they're trying to grab a billion different people and praying for, lightning in a bottle and all this. And they're just throwing a bunch of random stuff out there, which is from what I heard on Raw, all these 1-2 minute. It's so good to see they're back to the 1 to 2 minute matches. Random storylines. They got a pay-per-view next week. 0 build. You don't need much more explanation than that to see what's going on. But they're throwing bags of money at people and, well, we've got this guy under contract. You got a billion friggin' people under contract. Are you doing anything with them? You're paying a bunch of them that sit home on their ass. These people are dying to do what they love, and you're just paying them to sit on the toilet. I mean, seriously, that's not pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is, no matter the opinion of the company itself, it's MLW, it's Impact Wrestling, it's AEW. It's all these different companies out there putting product in the ring that's watchable, that's fun, and they're telling stories, and they're building characters and the such. And man, and that's why I watch all those others, because I'm happy with them, So back to Jomo. And we'll get to the whole. I'll catch up on comments here in a little bit. I'll check out a few of them. I appreciate you guys blowing up the chat. I really do. Thank you for joining. This midday stuff. I don't usually do this stuff. Usually do this late at night. So yeah, that bears a question. Where is John Morrison going to go? I think one thing that the fans, including myself, would like to see is something with The Miz. Because The Miz, love him or hate him, is one of the best talents that they have in the WWE. And I think if you tie Morrison to him in some way, shape, or form, make him a tag team partner, and then, build that for a year, and then implode it and make just a ridiculously big feud, that writes itself. That's not rocket science. I just wrote you a year to a year and a half's worth of stuff right there in 2 seconds. You're welcome. Because you could put those two against anyone. The Usos aren't exactly around right now from what I've heard. They're busy either destroying themselves or cleaning up, one of the two. There's not a lot of medium in there, unfortunately. But the what are they called now? The OG, no, the OC, the club, Gallows and Anderson. I'd love to see that. The New Day, the Revival are out the door from what I can tell. We haven't talked about them in a while. But there's a number of tag teams that you could put, Jomo and The Miz up against. And that'd be very entertaining. Very charismatic. Singles, the options are limitless. I don't know if throwing him on NXT is the best idea. If he doesn't want a ridiculous schedule where he's touring 10 times a week, which I'm guessing that's what he, like the main roster schedules are crazy. What, 4 or 5 days a week? Whatever it is. If Morrison wants a relaxed schedule, I would assume he wants to go to NXT. There's a possibility he could just be doing Friday nights. I don't know where The Miz is right now. But there's so many things that he could be doing, because the roster is just ridiculously loaded. So I'm not going to talk about Taya at length. I think the guys and I are going to be discussing that on a Total Nonstop Impact. And that'll be a very interesting discussion. All right, let's jump into chat here. We'll get some remarks. We'll be jobbing soon. Oh, dear God. I think a lot of people assume that just because their track record with people they bring in. Look at EC3. Look at any number of the Impact talents that they brought over. And they're not doing jack with them. Or they're doing horrible stuff with them like Lashley. With the whole affair deal and being arrested and whatever. I don't know. What are your thoughts about Joey Mercury, Klein, and RH Tobacco? Oh, man. That's a tough one. Joey's had a questionable past, but I believe him as far as the stuff that's come out. I've read his statements that came out the last couple of weeks. Kelly Klein, I'm praying she gets healthy and then she could turn up anywhere. Obviously her relationship with ROH has fizzled. Ring of Honor, it sounds like they've got a lot of unprofessional things going on, but there's a lot of things that I don't know about. So I don't want to say too much on it because I don't know. So I'm not going to make a ton of opinions on stuff that I don't know about. All I can say is I hope the company as a whole just grows in general because they deserve it. They still have a ton of really good talent. I'm just, I haven't watched it in so long since the whole inception of AEW, and a majority of the people that I enjoyed watching on there created a new company, became EVPs, and you guys know what happened. The rest is history. Charm City Player. I'm not going to lie, as much as I would like to see the revival in AEW, I think, in my personal opinion, the NWA would be a perfect fit for them. I would agree with you. I would agree. Because if they're doing old school stuff, they honestly would, and they're doing shows now. Whereas half a year to more than that ago, and we were still discussing the unhappy booking of the revival, the NWA was still not quite, well, I mean, they were doing a show here and a show there, but it wasn't really a constant existing presence. Now it is. Now they're doing shows, as we've just, been talking about here on a regular basis now. When is the first review of the NWA TNA? The original plan for that, for Total Nonstop Impact, to start doing the throwback, if you will, reviews, was originally going to be tonight. Trent, unfortunately, is not back on American soil yet, as far as I know. He's been traveling nonstop from multiple cities, getting back from Jordan and the northern Egypt, where he was around the pyramids. So he was making his way back to Europe and then back to the U.S. soil, and he was supposed to get back sometime today, but with his travel schedule, I am not going to put that kind of pressure on him or demand him to do a review in any way, shape, or form tonight. So look for those starting early next week, possibly Sundays, sometime starting next week is what the goal was. It originally was tonight, not going to happen tonight. So, but he, getting back rested, he should be back for the Total Nonstop Impact, the regular Impact reviews Thursday night is what we're trying to keep a regular thing for Thursday nights. C3, go back to NXT. Oh, we want so many people just to get seen on NXT, don't we? Do you think Taya will join? Here's the big contract expires. I'm gonna save that majority of that discussion for me and the TNI guys, but I will say this. There's no reason why she can't stay in Impact Wrestling. I know a lot of fans assume that she would want to be with her husband and travel with him, but look at how much time he's been gone and down south in South America and getting treatment and all that kind of stuff without her. While she's been kicking ass on the road, traveling all over the place, Europe, US, wherever she has been over the last several months. So there's no reason why she can't re-sign and or go somewhere else. But I think a lot of people assume she's going to. It all depends on what she wants to do with her future. We really can't assume anything, Look at how many people are in AEW and their significant other is in WWE. Lots, So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of relationships out there in the world of professional wrestling, and they're not together in the company. So Who knows? We'll discuss that more tomorrow. It's amazing that J-Bone was able to create a storyline just like that. That we than the WWE writers, right? Yeah. Hire me. Morrison and Miz is a heel tag team, but give them a Hollywood theme. Well, that's kind of what they were doing before. Save Pro Wrestling 2020. I hate the Lana, Bobby Lashley, and Rusev storyline. It's one of the reasons I don't watch. Morrison to NXT versus Adam Cole. Fantasy match? I think you could say that. These talents don't care. They just want a hefty payday. I'm sure some feel that way. The ones that just like to get a payday and sit in catering. But the ones that care are the guys like have made it clear that they care, like Moxley. He left a crap ton of money on the table and went somewhere else so that he could be happy and do what he wanted to do. So, I mean, there's lots of different people with lots of different needs out there. Unpopular opinion, I think AEW has a lot of things they need to fix, especially their women's division. I've said it once, I say it a billion times. Patience. And let's talk about that. Some updates. All right, so I think we talked about Joe Mo enough. But by all means, let me know your opinions. If you watch this after effect, where do you want to see Joe Mo? And I by all means want to congratulate him because hey, he deserves to be healthy, he deserves to be happy, he deserves to be seen as a professional wrestler because I still think he's damn good. And I think he just overall as a performer has improved through working with Lucha Underground and Impact Wrestling and working down in AAA where he was champ for a while. It all helped. It all helped his just becoming better. This second run over the course of the last 5 years, and now him going back to the WWE has been one of the most interesting legacies in professional wrestling, in my professional opinion. So, all right, enough about Jomo. AEW, couple updates here. This is courtesy of Fightful. Right here, Big Swell's signing with AEW was reported by Squared Circle Sirens last month, but was a little foggy considering some follow-up tweets from Swell herself. However, Swell, a.k.a. Ariel Monroe, outright confirmed the story to Fightful's Jeremy Lambert this past weekend at WrestleCade. All right, so it's official now. Big Swole is a part of the roster. They've hired Shayna, or Shanna. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Tremendous talent. I really enjoyed all the wrestling from the ladies that I've seen on AEW. Look, let's remember here. This company does 2 hours on TNT. Dear God, need more. This company does 2 hours a week on TNT, and they do dark. So 3 hours a week total. They've been on TV for 2 months. That's not very long. And I'm not counting the pay-per-views prior, okay? Now, granted, it's all Um, it's all content. By all means, it's all content. But consistent shows has been a whole whopping 2 months. Let's just take a step back, and all these people out there, like, oh, so many fans want all their shit now, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. As a fan myself, in looking at this in the broad spectrum of professional wrestling, you've got to be patient. Everybody wants their shit now. Why didn't I get it in my, in my inbox 15 minutes ago? People, this is still a brand new company. They're building care. You can't build stars overnight. Now, some stars, of course, are going to be called overnight sensations. But this is still a tremendous women's division. The Japanese talents. Big Swole just got signed. Britt Baker, B. Priestley. They just started something literally brand new out of nowhere, like an RKO with the Bunny. She came out last week with the Blade and the Butcher, introducing a brand new tag team / stable. So I'm very curious to see what she's doing with that. So it's like a dark bunny heel kind of thing, and she's with those two other guys. They're coming out with interesting stuff every week. It's just these people want, I don't know what these people want. They want everything 2 seconds ago. And why aren't they, guys? Brand new company. Let these people look from day one. How do I say this? From day one, this company has been about in-ring product. This is why fans are watching, because they're getting good in-ring product. And in the process of that, they're building characters. They only got so much time per week to build characters. And fans just got to be more patient. They've got tremendous in-ring talent. And a lot of these people are learning about being on TV on the fly. So the fact that they're as good as they are is, you could say, a stroke of luck. You could say thanks to the people that they're working with in the back. The guidance from the people that are already out there, like Justin Roberts, I'm sure has some kind of piece of that, as far as introducing them and making them sound like stars. Who are these people? Oh my God. It's that voice that we all know from Justin Roberts. That's a help right there. Watch the talent in the ring. That's a help right there. Tony Schiavone jumping in the ring for short interview segments here and there throughout these weeks. That's a help. You just gotta let the stuff, it's a slow burn, folks. Okay? And I don't know how else to put that. And if you can't be more patient than that, then I can't help you. But I've said this I don't know how many times on this podcast. Patience, people. Patience. And that's the fault of so many things, Social media crams stuff down your throat. That's why I'm very limited. I'll share stuff that I see on social media. But as far as putting out statements and original thoughts and stuff like that, I don't do it anymore, because I ain't got time for people coming at me and arguing with me for shits and giggles. I don't want it. So I don't do it, period. There's a concept. If you don't want it, don't do it. You don't want people to argue with you? Stop putting shit out there. Oh my God. My social media experience just became 10 times easier. Think about that. All right. So AEW, Big Swole is signed. Congratulations to her. It's official. Shayna recently got signed. Congrats to her. I think I've talked about that. What else was I going to? Oh, yeah. Darby Allin. I just found this. Oh, I've got a billion windows here. Give me a second. Not that. Darby Allin. Okay, so this is courtesy of ringsidenews.com. Darby Allin has put his body through a lot in a short amount of time. I put out a tweet saying, okay, I wish I was there. Neck is still skull and crossbones emoji. This show's sure to be wild. Talking about this week's show. All right, so he's on the shelf for an unpredictable amount of time. So he could be back next week. He could be back after Christmas. Who knows? Darby Allin is one of those rising stars that has certainly gotten a lot of attention lately. And I think man, he just does such insane stuff, you know? And I don't need to see him doing insane stuff as much as I want to see him every week because he's great. When he's out there, man, he is just destroying himself. And he's, but their roster is big enough that they can feature different people every week, bring in Jimmy Havoc to do something crazy or bring in Joey Janela. I almost said Joey Ryan. Different company. There's multiple people. If you want to, bring something a little wild, there's plenty of people on the roster to do that. And not that they have to do that every week because they want to focus on the in-ring specialties of these people. It doesn't have to be all razor blades and thumbtacks, All right, let's jump back in the chat here for a little bit. Do you think Tessa will re-sign with Impact Wrestling next year? Will she join AEW? Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think we got to see where the first quarter of her Impact Wrestling stuff is going to go first, honestly. She's on top. She's on the top of the company right now. I have not watched this most recent episode that aired last night. It's on my to-do list. Trust me. I will do it before tomorrow night's review, which is usually what I do anyways. I did not watch it live, but I know she's in the mix with Sami Callihan. It's well deserved. It's professional wrestling. I think we can officially throw intergender wrestling out the window. It's just wrestling, especially when it comes to a talent like Tessa. Would I like to see her with her dad in the long run? I think so. It's hard to say. I don't think she's going to. I mean, never say never. I think the biggest goal for a while was to go to the WWE, and they changed their mind on her for whatever reason. Huge mistake, in my opinion. But it is what it is, She's grown exceptionally and has completely proven herself around the world. So I think once she's done everything she could possibly do in the territory of Impact Wrestling, I think AEW would be tremendous. Have her come down with her pops and be the biggest female heel in the industry. Personal opinion of Impact last night. We'll review that tomorrow. I have not watched it yet. I'd rather she go to AEW. Yes, the women's division over there needs fixing, but it's better than being buried by Charlotte or Becky. Yeah, there's just not a lot of direction. I mean, there's so many things that they could do in the WWE as far as this whole women's revolution thing, and it's been so, they put it on a pedestal and then they stick it in the closet. It's been very inconsistent, whereas a company like Impact Wrestling has featured it consistently every week, some form of it. I like the new autograph wall behind you, J-Bone. Thank you. Let's talk about that just for a second. All right, so from say left to right, I don't know. We've got the impact section up here. We got Mike Elgin. Yes, I know it says Ring of Honor, but Ring of Honor is from like 5 years ago, give or take a little. Elgin, Rhino, the North. These are from Bound for Glory right here. This is my autograph I got from the guys. And then Sammy's, this is almost exactly a year ago when he was still in Lucha Underground. We're going to get to that. And then right above them, just out of camera, I got Jay Lethal and Steen. Over here, starting in the corner, we got two, top to bottom. Hard to see the one up here, but they're both of Jacob Fatu, MLW champ. Selena De La Renta, a classy picture of her. All right above them, just out of camera, the Hart Foundation. Tremendous bunch of guys, really, they are. Amber Nova. Thank you to Eric. So all three TNA or TNI guys have this or something from Amber Nova. Thank you. It's a great pick. And then last but certainly not last, I got Abyss down here from almost exactly 10 years ago. And X-Pac, huge fan of his. The biggest thing about X-Pac's is he really made it personal. He talked to you. He didn't look at you, write it, hand it to you, and say next. He conversed with me and my wife, who took the pictures that I've shared recently. And, he didn't rush it. He took the time to take a bunch of pictures and talk to you. Told him about my podcast, told him how much I loved his podcast. And I'm sure he's been talked at length and nauseum about his wrestling career, but I wanted to keep it more towards recent stuff because I do enjoy his podcast stuff. I haven't listened too much recently, but always a big fan of his and him keeping his nose clean, if you will. All these chats making me happy. So Allie is the Dark Bunny. Yes, that's new as of last week. That's something else they're going to be building on. AEW is a brand new company. They had time to get their feet underneath them. Exactly. See? You get it. New Japan Wrestling might work with AEW in a partnership. That's cool. Yeah. There was an interview recently with the owner, I guess, of New Japan, that European fellow, and talking about building a relationship with AEW. But he wants to see them grow as a company first. He doesn't want to just, throw talent on their show and say, okay, yeah, we're here. We have this partnership. It's something that he's keeping his door open to in the future, and having guys like Mox and Chris Jericho on a show like, Wrestle Kingdom, their WrestleMania show, which is every year on January 4th, um, is a part of that and is going to help with that. You know, it's going to bring eyes to the product. I think and them wanting to build that New Japan American brand is going to be a part of that too. That's very interesting. I haven't heard any updates on that, but I am very curious about it. Hopefully they can get that up and going, and I'm sure we'll be hearing some updates in the new year about that. All right. We talked about AEW. Let's go back to the WWE for a minute. Talk about Matt Hardy. Want to congratulate Matt Hardy on a new little bouncing baby boy. Put out a tweet saying BKH or whatever the initials of his new son are. I believe arrived in the world within the last day or so, whenever it was. So congrats to him on that. I know there's a big discussion on his future in the world of professional wrestling. Is he going to stay in the WWE? Is he going to go somewhere else? And I haven't watched his recent videos. I hear they're quite entertaining about being regenerated, rejuvenated, reborn, whatever, into something new. There's a few factors here. Obviously, the bigger picture is he's got to provide for his family. It's not just him. It's his wife and his 3 kids. So that's the big picture. He's got to think about his family's future. Number 2, he's got to think about his own sanity, sobriety, his own health, and his happiness in the world of professional wrestling. That's a big part of it too. Rebby has always, as controversial as she is on social media, she's always been, no matter what their situation is, she's always stood behind him very firmly. And that's always great to see. They say behind every man is a great woman. I have several. I'm kidding. Kidding. My wife has always been incredibly supportive of whatever I've done, work or play related. She's wonderful. She's loving. She's nourishing. That's what guys need, So the big question is, he's I heard he had a match the other night, but I heard he lost. And he came out looking like 20 years ago Matt Hardy. Is that something he wants to do? Probably not. WWE has proven that they can do some creative stuff with him. Maybe not the best stuff with him. I would love to see him get another run in Impact Wrestling and see him do something wacky. I think there's certainly an opening for that. I would love to see him just go all over the indies and have he could probably successfully, professionally, is what I meant to say, do a couple months in Impact Wrestling. Place his foot there. He could do a run in MLW, place his foot there as a different character, completely out of the realm of anything he's done before. He could go back to Ring of Honor, do something crazy there. He could, hell, go to New Japan, do something crazy over there with, like, I don't know, first person off the top of my head, like Minoru Suzuki. Who knows? I don't know. Just throwing a name out there. And there's my coffee maker has an opinion as it's bubbling in the background for whatever reason. Thank you for your lovely opinion. It's reminding me I need another cup. So I don't know. I don't think bouncing him down to NXT is going to do him any favors. But if he does stay in the WWE, I think there is one person for sure, and that's going to go into our next subject here. We're switching gears. I think there is one person significantly that could help him. Brain just had a stroke. And that's Krista Joseph. It was recently revealed that Krista Joseph, and we literally just talked about this within the last few days, last week, whatever it was. Krista Joseph joined MLW. Well, now, and barely a breath later, it's being reported that Krista Joseph is leaving MLW and going back to WWE, where he spent a handful of years in the early 2000s, up until 2005 to 2010, something like that. And, he did some wacky stuff, which, I'm sure he's proud of, whatever, got him noticed. Do we want to see him go back to being Big Dick Johnson? I don't think anybody really wants to see that. Maybe some people have some kind of weird fetish seeing grown men in diapers and running around. Dear God, please no. He has lost some weight, so congrats on that. He's a bigger guy. No knocking him, but as we've recently seen on, the 2 seconds we saw him on MLW when he got his car stolen from Jimmy Havoc, I believe. In that fight between Jimmy Havoc and can't think. Oh, Manser. That's who it was. Manser. So yeah, he literally spent a cup of coffee with MLW. So and I'm not going to try to assume what happened there or what went wrong. What kind of relationship he started to have there, I don't know. I could try to get him out here, but now that looks like he's going back to the WWE, it'd probably be hard to, because most people from WWE just don't go do interviews. But I have interviewed him before. Oof, it was a while ago, wasn't it? 5 years ago plus, courtesy of the Rambling About Wrestling guys. It's one of the few interviews I booked, and that was when he was with Lucha Underground. So we know his level of creativity within the last handful of years, because Lucha Underground was so much fun. It was not seen by enough people and got lost in a big Hollywood battle, which is why it's not around today. But him going back to the WWE is, I would say, is the last nail in the coffin of Lucha Underground, unfortunately. Elijah Washington. Oh God, Big Johnson was funny but embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, that was right in the tail end of the Attitude Era, or what was that? The Aggression Era, or whatever the hell that was called. I always forget. There were so many different eras and times and whatever. So congrats to Krista Joseph on what it looks like he's going back to the WWE. I hope his creativity flourishes there and it improves the quality of the programming on WWE television. That's my biggest hope. Because, there's like I said, I still have a lot of favorites on there. I just have no desire to watch it. But man, it just reminds me how good Lucha Underground was. And I was really looking forward to seeing how good MLW was going to get with him. I clipped something here. I don't know if I'm going to find it. I had so many things open. Is this? No. Here we go. Okay. He told Krista Joseph told Sports Illustrated, this was courtesy of Fightful. Since the last season of Lucha Underground, I've had an itch to get back in the game. I've been watching what they've been doing. He's talking about MLW here. Doing and the steps they're taking to keep building, and I can't wait to get my hands dirty with MLW. Look at that MLW roster. Alex Hammerstone, Brian Pillman Jr., the Von Erichs, Tom Lawler, Davey Boy Jr. You can go on and on. There's so many young stars. My job will be to help them better performers and better characters. So much has sprouted from the alternative universe of Lucha Underground. The wrestling world is exploding right now, and I'm looking forward to riding that wave. Well, so, and he's not going to be a part of MLW's the opera shows that's being done or filmed tomorrow, I believe, up in wherever it is. So yeah, if there's anybody that can help Matt Hardy, I think it's Big Dick Johnson, Krista Joseph. Get rid of all my billion tabs. I don't know who they've all got in production now. I know Abyss was with them. Sanjay Dutt was helping. Oh God, I don't know who all else. They had so many. Jeff Jarrett, I think, was helping. And probably 50 others. I don't know. But so that's it. Congrats to Krista Joseph, and I hope, like I said, I just hope he can have a prosperous future, and I hope his creativity does shine through in the programming. We'll have to wait and see. It's when Eric Bischoff and Heyman were signed as leaders on each individual Raw and SmackDown show in the everyone just oh my God, the shows are saved. No, they're not. They're far from saved. as we've seen. Um, ratings are still tanking. They're still doing 1 to 2 minute matches. You're not going to build a wrestling show on 1 to 2 minute matches. You're not. Now, of course, people throw that argument with, the NWA at a statement like what I just said. Completely different company. Okay. They have an hour or less to build these characters to have strong wrestling matches. Now, you can have good wrestling match in 10 minutes. It depends on what you're doing in the ring. Can't do 5 minutes of rest holds in a 10-minute match. I think the NWA is still doing well with what they're doing. All is not lost, in my opinion, in my professional opinion. All right, so I've talked at length about all this stuff. We're coming up on an hour. We're going to get out of here. Thanks for everyone that tuned in because we just talked about a bunch of stuff. We talked about Jomo coming back to the WWE, Matt Hardy's kid being born, and his future in the WWE or professional wrestling in abroad. Updates on MLW stuff like Krista Joseph, and we also talked about some AEW news as well. So, thanks for tuning in. Later tonight, I will be watching AEW Dynamite. Might watch Dark from last night. It's on my to-do list. I don't know. And we might talk about that a little bit. Because I have been putting some damn good stuff on Dark. Like that Kenny Omega match with Jack Evans. Oh my God. Folks, if you have not watched that match, please go watch it. So much fun. The AEW Dark stuff on YouTube is so much fun. It's usually an hour or less, so it's a quick watch and just chock full of good segments. A lot of fun. And that's another way that they're building talent. Period. So that's it for this. Tune in later tonight. We'll do some AEW stuff, hopefully. And tomorrow, be back with the total nonstop Impact guys over on the lounge. And we'll be talking all things Impact Wrestling. So watch for that stuff tonight and tomorrow. So we'll see you there. Don't forget to smash that like button on the way out. Smash that sub button as well. And ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. We're out of here. See you.